Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chiu Chang. This is the second session of the Network Engineering Workshop. The topic for this session is ArenaPAC updates and plan. As you may know, ArenaPAC is positioned as a research and education network backbone for Asia Pacific region. Is an initiative under Asia Pacific Internet Development Trust, which is co-managed by Y Project and APNIC. I'm Chiu Chang from APNIC. I have a supporting role for this ArenaPAC initiative. But as for the operation part, it's more under Y Project, and for APNIC, our supporting role is more about financial management, contract management, and also legal support. And I'm the bridge between the legal person, finance person, and the technical persons. Anyway, for this we have 4 speakers. And 3 speakers will talk about things directly related to ArenaPAC. The last speaker will cover something more related to the trust, which is a program which is funded by the trust. Talk more about that. But anyway, our first speaker, who is the person in charge of operating ArenaPAC technical parts and operation part, is Asai-san. You can call him Panda. He will cover, the updates of ArenaPAC topology and operations. Over to you, Panda.
Yeah, thank you for your introduction. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, yeah, good afternoon or good morning, everybody. I'm Hirochika Asai from Panda. I'm leading the ArenaPAC project. I'm a whole member of the project and leading the ArenaPAC. And the other, the leader of the ArenaPAC, Omnisa is here. We are unfortunately we cannot go there, but we can do this meeting over the online. So this is very good, thanks to the internet. So I'll share the update of the ArenaPAC. So ArenaPAC stands for Arterial Research and Educational Network in Asia Pacific. So this is the new research and education network in Asia Pacific. So the ArenaPAC project started in 2020, so 2020, and sorry, just a sec. Yeah, ArenaPAC is a project of APIDT infrastructure. That is the subsidiary of the APIDT. APIDT stands for the Asia Pacific Internet Development Trust. So that is a trust, so the funding base. And the infrastructure is actually funded by the APIDT or APIDT infrastructure. And but the operation is performed by the WIDE project. So as the WIDE project is leading the operation and research for the research and education network. So the ArenaPAC project is to establish the submarine cables with the long-term IRU in Asia Pacific for collaboration with the global research network community. And as I said before, it is operated by the WIDE project, collaborating with the APAI and Asia and APNIC. So we started this project in the 2020, but the first circuit came to the Tokyo 100 gig circuit, and that is in 2021 February. So we have, actually the 2 years have passed since the initial circuit. And we are collaborating with the other existing research and education networks, such as the NSF, Internet 2, TAIN, APAN, and so on. So the mission of the ArenaPAC is, we have 3 missions. One is to develop the inter-regional backbone infrastructure with the research and the education network partners, so such as Internet or the other partners. So the second mission is to promote the operational and the development of a new Pacific topology. And so the mission is to connect the Asia Pacific region to the rest of the world globally. So this is the current status of the Arena PAC project and the Arena PAC submarine cable status. So we started this project with the Tokyo Guam 100 circuit in 2021, and the 2020 end of the 2021 or the beginning of 2022, the Guam Singapore circuit has been it was installed. This is the joint operation with the other three parties, ALNet, Intet2, and the Indiana University. And the third submarine cable from the Guam to Malang was at last February, so 1 month ago. So this is the new fiber. And the fourth fiber will be added soon from the Guam to Manila. That we have contracted the MOU with the SD and President for the operation, and the circuit will coming soon. Will be coming soon. So in fact, the basic infrastructure is founded by APIDTI, but we are operating the layer 2 and layer 3. So we have Arena PAC project has a AS number for the layer 3 operations. So we are connecting to the other partners, research and education network in Guam and Tokyo. Unfortunately, the equipment to the Malang is on the way. Actually, it's in a custom clearance, so we need to wait for that. But the equipment will be in the Malang, so we're gonna have a Malang POP soon. But currently we have only two POPs. One is Tokyo and the other is Guam. So in Tokyo, we are pairing with the WIDE project and GXP Tokyo. So I'm sorry, that Signet will come to Guam. So this is a little bit old. So in Guam, we are pairing over the GOREX with University of Hawaii, UOG, ALNet, Shingareng, Reliance, and Transpac. And we also have a direct pairing with the ALNet for the precise traffic engineering, because in this region, we have many alternative paths. So for the better precise routing, traffic engineering, it's better to have a direct pairing with ALNet. And for the Indonesia, we are pairing with the IDRANG and the UB, University of Brawijaya, at the ground. Actually, the IDRANGs and the UB routers in the Malang, but our layer 3 router is in ground. So until we can have our equipment in the Malang. So this is the layer 3 perspective. And we are delivering the many research and educational traffic over this project, and we are collaborating to the researchers, and we are seeking for the new collaboration over this Arena PAC network. So this is one of the takeout from the Arena PAC project, Arena PAC network. So we have a partner we have a partner in Japan that is called National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. That they have a optical observatory in Hawaii. So they have a very huge traffic, and that image of the observatory is transferred to the Tokyo so that they can analyze the astronomical image. So they had the circuit from the Hawaii to Tokyo, but that was very narrow. And the other alternative option was the Hawaii, Los Angeles, Seattle to Tokyo. They had enough capacity, but the latency was good because the traffic was over the United States mainland. So with the Arena PAC Tokyo Guam circuit and the University of Hawaii circuit from the Hawaii to Guam, the latency is drastically reduced. And it's very efficient because we can have a shorter path from the Hawaii to Tokyo. So this is one of the quality improvement by the Arena PAC. And we are also collaborating with the other research and educational network So APANET is the one of the collaboration scheme with the Research and Education Network. So APANET is the Asia Pacific Oceania Network collaboration. So we have an MOU for the resiliency or the other research collaboration under this scheme. And this is the one of the takeout of the APANET collaboration. So each entity has their own network or path circuit between the two. I mean, how to say? They have their circuit, but they may have some maintenance or engineering or maybe a fiber cut. So for that case, we need to have an alternative path. So under this APONET collaboration, we could increase the resiliency using the alternative path of the other entities, other partners. So yeah, this was last year, but the JP Guam Singapore circuit was in the maintenance for this was the JGN, yeah, JGN and SINET, NII. So we could provide our capacity from the Tokyo to Guam circuit for their backup circuit. And it was successfully rerouted to this alternative path. And recently, there are several maintenance I've heard that, but I don't think that kind of information could be provided by the other partners. So we can make such kind of backup in this collaboration scheme. And this is the takeout of the for the research activities. So in the supercomputing conference 22, the NICT made an experiment for the uncompressed 8K video transfer from the Tokyo to Dallas. The Dallas is the venue of the supercomputing conference. So they use the 6 paths in total, the 100 gig paths in total. So the one of the paths here in the path 4, the APAC contributed this 100 gig circuit. So this is the actual traffic. They engineered the traffic so that they had some kind of the congestion control or the traffic control. So they set their 80 gigabps in max. So this is the actual traffic. So that they send 80 gigabps to our circuit for their traffic video traffic delivery. So thanks to them, we received actually we contribute to the experiment, and the SciNet is supercomputing network team awarded all the member of the APONET by the SciNet Spirit of Innovation Awards. And we are now thinking about the global learning optimization. Yes, we have 4 sites, currently 4 sites, Tokyo, Guam, not currently, we're gonna have 4 sites, Tokyo, Guam, Malang, and Philippines, Manila. So there we need to do the traffic optimization to connect to the other research and education networks. So now we're thinking about the optimization. This is but the detail will be omitted today. So this is the current network design topology. So we are connecting to the wide project in LG and GXP Tokyo in Tokyo. And in Guam, we're pairing with the GoRex StarNet. And we over the GoRex, there are many entities, partners there. And we're going to soon connect to this SciNet. So this is the current state. So gray, actually we are shipping our equipment to the Philippines and the Malaysia, Indonesia, but not yet delivered. So this is the final topology. So after the equipment delivery, we're gonna have a pairing with the ASCII president and IDM and University of Buenos over at the Malang and the Philippines. So, and this is the picture of the foresight of the Arena PAC at Guam. So actually, we, Tomei-san and I and the other student went there yesterday and the day before yesterday. So unfortunately, I could not go to the I could not go to there. I mean the APAN55 on site. So this is the equipment picture. So yeah, this is it. And the other news is that well, I couldn't read that. Sorry. Yeah. So in Tokyo, we made a big reconstruction and a big engineering. Yeah, actually, our original data center in Tokyo, was the NTT Communication Automatic Data Center, but it will be they have a reconstruction because it's a very old building, so we need to move to the other data center. So almost all the equipment of White project moved the NTT Communication Automatic Annex data center, but the Arena PAC equipment moved to Equinix TY4. That is still in the Otemachi. So this is because the Equinix data center has actually the Node.js that is one of the big user of the Arena PAC has a good connectivity to the Equinix. So the we decided to move to the TY4. And yeah, this is the news. So the Malan circuit is up, and the Quezon circuit we're gonna soon up. And the other stuff is the Timor-Leste. So in next April, we're gonna have a VPN-based layer 3 circuit, I mean network to the Timor-Leste. That VPN circuit is about 20 megabps, not 20 gig. Yes, but that is very important for connecting to the Timor-Leste. So we're gonna soon have the connection to the Timor-Leste. So this is the summary of the timeline of the Arena PAC operations. So we started the project in 2020, and the first circuit comes to the Tokyo Guam in February of the 2021. And now we have almost now, not yet, but we almost come to the full deployment of our the initial plan like this. So yeah, this is the information, the update of the Arena PAC. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Panda. Any questions from the floor, or maybe question from remote participants? Our team just had a retreat a month ago in Brisbane, Australia. So like Panda, Tomina-san, June all came to Brisbane, and we discussed a lot about the possible future plan. Yeah, Timor-Leste, of course, is one of the plan, and we actually still welcome inputs from the people here so that we can formulate our plan for the future. And I think you might have noticed that our focus is more on the IRU and also 100G or above. Timor-Leste, of course, is the VPN part is just a temporary solution. When the submarine cable is ready, we'll change to submarine cable for Timor-Leste. So that's all I can add. Any question from the floor or from remote? Can you take up a mic?
Hi, I'm Karma from Bhutan. I represent Druk Research and Education Network, a National Research and Education Network in Bhutan. So you were talking about future plans. So I'm just interested to know what would be an opportunity for the South Asian Research and Education Network to connect to the Arena PAC submarine cables, to access basically to the Arena PAC. Is there any opportunity from the project, and what would be the arrangement for entrants like Bhutan to connect to Arena PAC and avail the high-speed backbone connectivity? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Kama. Panda, can you answer this?
Yeah, future plan. As I know, as Chief said, we periodically have a retreat of the Arena Pack, and there was a mini discussion for the future plan, but there is no I mean the public decision on the future plan. So here we always thinking about the future better policy and the future plan. So if you have any advice or any comment on the Anime Pack project, we appreciated that.
Thank you, Panda. Adding to what Panda just said, we did discuss South Asia, but of course, South Asia would have its own challenges, especially like Bhutan, because Bhutan is a landlocked country, so we cannot have submarine cable directly into Bhutan. So that kind of challenges have to be solved before we can have a solution. Anyway, thanks for your input, and I think we'll consider that, for our future. Any other questions, comments? If not, thank you, Panda.
Thank you.
Our second speaker is Ahmed Basuki. You can call him Abbas. He will talk about IDRAN, the updates of IDRAN. As Panda mentioned, IDRAN is already connected to our Arena Pack with their own equipment. And of course, now I suppose the international connectivity for IDRAN has improved quite a lot. And I think Abbas would talk more about that, and also their domestic plan for the domestic backbone. I pass it on to Abbas. Over to you.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I hope you can see the slide too. Thank you, everyone. My name is Ahmad Basuki, or simply call me Abbas, representing IDRAN and also Universitas Brawijaya Jaya, or UB. I'm very sorry I cannot attend the meeting in person in Nepal due to some other activities. Yeah, I'm not going to explain much, but it's just continuations from our previous report in the previous meetings, APAN meetings. So to those not familiar, IDRAN is Indonesia Research and Education Networks. The infrastructure perhaps a little bit different from other country, because the infrastructure basically made up by collaboration between several big ISP and telcos to create the L2 links between gateway, which is in mostly in universities, and each ISP and telco contribute to expand the capacity as a backbone and also provide connectivity to the end user. Currently, we have 9 ISPs committed to collaborate, which is which signed MOU with them actually from 2022. But realizations in the physical link, of course, have some operational constraints. And right now we have 5 gateways in Jakarta, which is in Universitas Indonesia or Indonesian University in Bandung, ITB, in Yogyakarta, Central Java, and also Surabaya and also UB. That's the 5 operational gateway. We plan to expand this up to 11 right now and expected operations by Q2 or Q3 2023. It really depends on the uh, realizations in the physical deployment, because in real operations or real execution, we also face some technical some administrative issues. So today's IDRAN is basically like this. So still operating with the current infrastructure. It's the kindness of the previous ISP that providing us from 2015 up to now, and which is centralized in Jakarta and centralized in Bandung, provided by 2 ISP from the early operations, and then from each of the gateway spread out to several university that are subscribed to those ISP that support this link. And the gateway, as Panda has mentioned in the previous presentations, the Guam link to Malang is already in operation from 1st February, but not with the planned equipment, because we are using UB's equipment in UB campus, the switch capable for connecting with 100 gigs, but in the downstream with the other distributions still with low capacity. But anyway, it shows that there is a connectivity that connected. We are expecting the real equipment will be coming soon, but currently for custom clearance in Surabaya. We've been doing so many administrative stuff to release that equipment for research and education. So as mentioned earlier, the MOU have been signed in last year's August 31st at the sideline event of the Digital Economic and Working Group G20 meetings, and witnessed by Digital Minister of Japan and Minister of Informatics and Communication Indonesia. It means the Arena PAC really being acknowledged by several agencies. So it is in operation right now from February 1st, linking to UB campus and also the IDRANs. It was just integrated with the others, but of course it is still limited due to because we haven't really used the real equipment that we plan to install. The news has been published, and the exact location, you can check out the Google Maps. And the latency that we've been experiencing is around 50 milliseconds from Malang to Guam, as expressed with this. For example, like doing the IPv6 trace route to AIII network in Japan, it's like around 80 milliseconds, and this is the Guam side. And we try to trace route from a IDRM router in Jakarta. It's just like this. So this is the Arena PAC AS number. And outgoing plan. So we call that previous one the IDRM 1.0, and we are trying to move to the new architectures from the L2 link, composed of multiple L2 links actually. For example, in one university, it could have like 6 to 7 ISP deploying the fiber optics inside the campus to go to the data center and connect with the routers and switches for the campus and IDRAMs. and that's similar for each of the gateway in Java. Well, most of ISP have rich connectivity in Java, but unfortunately, to other islands are still very limited. But we are consolidating with many other parties to try to spread out the connectivity, since this effort means like it's meaningless if we only have those high capacity only at one campus or at one gateway, but no good connectivity or good capacity to others. So we are collaborating with more and more ISP, and there is a positive commitment, and also the interest is also keep growing from other ISP, because the high the connectivity of operations and the published things in how to say it's give interest to many other parties that wants to support uh, research and education activities. So we really need also support for interconnect devices with high capacity, welcoming support of course. We try by our own effort, collaborating with many university as a gateways and the related agencies and others. Thanks also to Arena PACs, of course, that gave the connectivity to global RAN through Guam. And other activities, of course, we need to increase competencies to manage the networks, especially for the young researchers or young engineers. The other ongoing activities, we are facilitating interconnectivity between campus who has big computing capacity like GPU-based things, because the AI things in Indonesian university are currently the hype that many parties would like to do some experiments and create some applicable things, and would like to do the development. And for that, the Ministry of Education's providing support, that they are supporting some NVIDIA DGX machines to several campus, but that machine supposed to serve many, not only one university, but also for others. And for that purpose, we are also trying to interconnect those. For example, these the current, of course, not only this is only those being supported by the ministry, spread out into several university, including in One Brawijaya, I guess. So I think those are the current updates. We really expecting the real operations of Arena Pack POP in Malang very soon, waiting for the equipment release from the custom. I think those are the presentation from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Abbas. Any questions from the floor or from remote participants? I have one question, Abbas.
Yes.
Have you, oh, sorry, there's a question from the floor. Yeah, please.
Hello, Frédéric, Louis, Renater, friends. You mentioned in your slide that you needed some help. What type of help is needed to interconnect the 10-100 gig equipment?
Yeah, thank you for that, and thanks for the interest on that matters. Basically, what we operated in several gateways based on very old equipment, like those in here, like a generation, like Cisco router from the age of 27 or 28, and currently is still in operation. Some are donated by like those unused routers and switches. but the new procurement are not really easy to do. So that's what I mean. So the interconnection among university is still in the speed like a capacity like 1 up to 10 gigabits.
Okay, so you would like to go beyond 100?
Yes, yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. I have a questions. Since the connection to Arena PAC is made, do you witness any big improvement other than, of course, the latency part? Or have you done any testing which you can share with us?
For now, the testing is only the latency, as you said, I think I mentioned in one slide, the trace routing. Which one? It's this latency, but the speed capacity are not yet, and still limited to 1 gig, because only from the routers or this that is having the 100 gig speed. But from the cable operator, when they deploy, the speed is been tested up to 100 gig. So the L2 test from the cable operator.
Okay, thank you. Maybe next time you can share with us more.
Sure. So I hope near soon, when we have the current status at the HL as a delivery is still custom clearance. It's been already 1 month. Yeah, we're still fighting for the custom release on that.
Yeah, that's always the hard part. Anyway, thank you, Abbas. If there's no other questions, thank you, Abbas. And we'll have the third talk. And this time we're happy to have Bani to present in person. And Bani, of course, is from SD Philippines. He is taking care of PregiNet. And Arena PAC circuit is still being prepared, but I think he can share with us some updates about PregiNet and also the preparation. Over to you, Benny.
So thank you, Chiho. So good morning, I'm Bani from the Philippines. I work for the Ministry of Science and Technology there, specifically an office called ASTI, and the Philippine Research Education and Government Information Network is one of the projects being handled by ASTI. So before I go to the engineering part, I'd like to run through some of the applications that we run over the network. I'd like to give them the time of the day, since without the apps, the network will just be, an idle infrastructure. So we're operating since around 2000. We've been operating for around 22 years. By the way, thank you for those of you who flew to Manila to attend the Apricot meeting that we hosted around 2 weeks ago. Okay, some apps that go through our network. We advocate EduRoam as best as we can, although pickup of EduRoam in the Philippines is quite slow. We advocate, of course, IP version 6, both on the research network that we run and on the Internet Exchange, the local IX that we run. We're part of Professor Morai's APAI group. In fact, before the PregiNet network was conceptualized by our former director, ASTI was involved with APAI, and it was through the APAI project that we got introduced to the concept of NRENs. So we advocate perf sonar use. We're part of Professor Francis Lee's large data transfers project being funded. We're part of the Malaysian group in terms of the cybersecurity cloud setup project funded by TAIN. We're finishing configuration on the Chinese initiative for the BGPER.net, BGP monitoring. We host some orgs that send their equipment to do global network monitoring and cybersecurity. Then recently, apologies, very delayed, but we have gotten the en-route up and running through the group of Akira Kato wide. So thank you, APNIC, for hosting us. An interesting project. So you're familiar with the typical speed test, UCLA, and Fastly websites. So the regulator in the Philippines tasked us to make a local version that is specific for them, simply because they didn't have access to the proprietary code of UCLA and the rest of those network measurement software that's popular in the internet. So they had us make one that's local, open source, and it's supposed to measure the Philippine internet. So ASTI is basically a research contractor here, and it's the regulator that will try to make this as viral as possible and have the Filipino internet users install it on their phones or try it through their web browsers. A big consumer of our network is the supercomputer, the HPC group within ASTI, which does a lot of activities as listed there. In terms of disaster risk management, Philippines having 7 to 8 typhoons in a year. We do remote sensing through satellite images hosted in ASTI, and through a data analytics group called Datos. They curate the satellite images so that it's laymanized and given to policymakers and local government units for decision making. Another TAIN-funded project through the Philippine Space Agency is advocacy of space information know-how and training. They're hoping to have more space-related projects with the TAIN community. We host a lot of sensors all over the country, and we help the Weather Bureau, with their data sets. We also host people from NICT through the Himawari project, and this is actually very useful. It's heavily used by the Weather Bureau in the Philippines. So earthquake, flooding, all of those things are done within the PrejaNet network as a main venue to pull and push data sets. One big database that we host is, from what I understand, the second biggest genome project in the world, which is the RISE Genome database. Okay, we also have some initiatives from some universities to connect several key campuses to do distance learning, and this group actually proposed a TAIN project to bring connectivity all the way to the remote mountainside in the Philippines. So some AI apps that we run over the network, weather forecasting, education, smart farming, sound curation, picture analytics, and sensors on the phone that they dump and store. The network was actually heavily used during the COVID-19 pandemic. This was actually a difficult time for us because network engineers were trapped in the provinces and we were very undermanned. But still, the network was delivered to whatever was needed by the government in terms of COVID applications. For example, the middle one, the FASTER database hosted in a university, is the key piece of modeling that the government used to impose lockdowns. So they modeled the spread of COVID in the Philippines through that software. So lots of telemedicine activities during the lockdown. Okay, so some up and coming projects that we are involved with. The ASEAN countries have organized themselves to have an HPC group within that body. And the active leaders actually there is Thailand and Singapore. Then, of course, the Arena PAC as presented a while ago. Then, on the lower right, there are some Filipino physicists right now in Switzerland working on things that they work on in CERN, and we're hoping that that can mature into something wherein the Filipino physicists would finally, need to pull data to the country to analyze it themselves. That would be a big use of our pain link to Europe. But right now, they're not yet there. What's concrete and up and coming is our work with the European Space Agency. We're going to host Copernicus dataset. From what I understand, it's satellite images, space images, but taken by European owned satellites. So they're going to collocate, several equipment in ASTI for us to be a host for the data. Okay, one other initiative that we have right now, it's actually new, is supposedly the democratization of RAN technology, so that cellular technology would be more open and neutral. So ASTI was chosen as one of the collaborators in the Philippines to advocate this open standard cellular technology. Okay, so with that, going back to the network engineering part, well, a lot was discussed by Panda, but basically we have a Manila-Guam link financed by APIDT. So thank you very much for including us in that project. It's a 15-year IRU from what I understand through the CUS cable, which lands on the southern part of the Philippines, a place called Davao. Okay, so I understand from the contractors, the fiber should be finished by March 31 of this year, and we will probably face the same customs challenges that Indonesia is facing because the equipment is about to be shipped from Tokyo to Manila. So I hope no customs issues, but I think there will probably be some customs issues. Okay, so the Indonesia link was signed November 2022, the MOA, and the MO for the Manila link was signed last November 2022. We hosted Professor Maray along with the AI3 group. Okay, so there were two MOA signings actually in Manila because we could not get the secretary, the Ministry of Science and Technology secretary in the morning. His schedule was so packed. So we had the MOA signing with my boss during the morning, and we were able to pull the Minister of Science for dinner to have another MOA signing. So I think this one is the MOA. The one during the dinner is the MOU. Okay. Okay, so Pregenes is involved with a lot of technologies, distance ed, telemed, so on and so forth. This is basically our backbone network. We have a 10 gig going to Hong Kong that has been down since August of 2022. So this rides over the AAG cable, and when there was a problem with the AAG cable last year, we were actually, trying to push our contractor to move us to another cable system, but that never happened. So we had to rebid this link. We now have a new contractor, and hopefully by April, our Hong Kong back up because that's our main link going to TAIN. We have a 10 gig link to Singapore, landing on Singaren, and from there we cross connect to SGIX. We have a 10 gig link to Japan through the our gracious host, Mafin. They finance that link. And from Japan, of course, we get APAN and Transpac and all the other guys. We have a 10 gig link going to US. Apologies, PACwave. Jonah, I think, is here. This is severely delayed in terms of the configuration. We also have an internet port here in LA. Then, of course, the 100 gig link going to Guam. That's hopefully happening soon. Domestic-wise, we have 10 gigs going to two commercial providers. We have 10 gig going to the Ministry of ICT's domestic network. So if you look at this diagram, we already, in a way, slowed down in terms of domestic rollout. We now rely on the Ministry of ICT's fiber network to connect, government agencies, universities, schools, hospitals, and all the others within the Philippines. We have a 10 gig link going to the internet exchange that we're running, and we're hosting through the AS number of PregiNet, a Google Cache and a Facebook Cache, which we actually share to the smaller ISPs here in PHOPENIX. Of course, Core, our HPC, is a big producer of content. Our network gear is a mix of, Cisco ASR 9001s, 9901s, some Juniper EX455, some Extreme switches, and we FS switches that we hope to try soon. Okay, so that's it for my presentation, and thank you.
Please stay for a while to see whether there are any questions. Question, Francis? Please use the mic.
All right, thank you. You can keep that diagram there behind you. When your link goes between Hong Kong and Philippines went down, then where is your traffic routing to?
Mostly through Singapore, actually. We were getting a lot through SGIX and Singapore.
Okay, so that's why I was. That's called diversity, and so that I was worried. Hey, what happened to you all? So you all did get the connectivity through Singapore.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
So thank you for allowing us to connect.
Okay. Any other questions from the floor or from remote participants? If not, thank you, Bani. Well, before I switch to the fourth presenter, I want to share a bit about, equipment ordering. The approach that ArenaPAC is using is to buy equipment in Japan, get the equipment there and then ship the equipment from Japan to different places. Of course, that would mean we need to take care of the, import-export, especially the import part to the final destination. That of course is quite troublesome. Another approach that APAC is using for the MROOT project, of course, MROOT projects is together with Y project and JPRS, but we use different approach. We use international suppliers for that. And supposedly the international suppliers would help take care of all the licenses needed. And the equipment would not be needed to ship to Australia or Japan and then to the final destination. Supposedly is better, but still, of course, is not really straightforward. And I think the downside is you may need to pay more. So just to share with you, this kind of experience. And after experimenting for a number of cases, it's not 100% smooth, depending on final destination.
Have you tried, for the DTN node that we...
Can you have the mic?
I was wondering whether if you are, say, Philippines or Indonesia, if we ask them to procure and pay them back so that they can get the vendors from within the country, would that be, then you solve the issue of the import license is really crazy.
Depending on the location, but of course, like right now, our approach is the equipment, the asset, will still be owned by APNIC. Or in the case of ArenaPAC, it's owned by ArenaPAC. So some of the local suppliers may not accept this kind of overseas order. That's an issue as well. Anyway, yeah, another thing, of course, I also want to share is, I have a few RIPE Atlas props for internet measurement. Of course, it's not for testing 100G circuit. No, it's not for that. It's more about the connectivity, especially latency. If you want to have one, you can come to me. It's very useful, especially for deploying root servers. Before the deploying root server, we want to do some measurement, and then afterwards we want to do the measurement again and then compare. I think that would be very useful to at least justify what we are doing. Okay, that's all for the network part. And let's switch a little bit to the development part, the capacity building part. Our next speaker is Keiko from Y Project as well as KU University. She would talk about a program called API. Yeah, I think she will let you know what API stands for. But anyway, it's a program under the APANC Soy Asia project funded by the Trust APANC Foundation. Very complicated. But anyway, I'll let Keiko to talk it through. Keiko, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Chifu. Do you hear my voice well over there in Nepal? Okay.
Good, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So thank you for inviting me to this ArenaPAC update session. I would like to talk about human resource development program called API program. And actually, I made a presentation about our plan 2 times before, APAN55. So this is the update from the from that time. So first of all, who are we? Who am I? We are from APANC Soy Asia, already mentioned several times in the presentations before me. And I'm very happy to continue our working for more than 20 years, since the very beginning of the internet development in Asia. APANC is the development of the infrastructure, and Soy is focusing on the human resource development, especially for universities and RANs. And also, this project is closely related to ArenaPAC. This is linking many RANs in Asia. And ArenaPAC is operated by Y Project as well. Also, APANC Soy Asia is a kind of sub-project under Y Project. So the left-hand side, you can see the ArenaPAC links centered in Guam, Tokyo, Guam, Milan, Guam, Singapore, and Guam, Manila. And the red dots are partners. APANC Soy Asia has a lot of partners, university and research institute, and government researcher community, and of course, APNIC and APNIC Foundation. So we are a kind of community in Asia Pacific regions, focusing on infrastructure and human resource development. So let me go to the next slides. So what is API? API stands for Asia Pacific Internet Engineering Program. API is just started 2 years ago, based on the requirement of the community. These days, more and more engineers for internet is required, but not many young people are interested in lower layers. So we are kind of get together and discuss and decided to create our own programs targeting for young people. as you know, there are so many learning materials in the internet, and once you know how to learn, how to utilize those, they can just learn by themselves. But the problem as we see is how to get them started. So this program is focusing on that part, based on community-based and university students and young people in the Asia Pacific regions. And of course, focusing on the skills needed to meet the global demand for internet engineers in industry and academia. And also, we are pretty much strongly focused on REN community contribution. Community-based, I say, it is because we need people, and many partners are supporting this program. Of course, Toy Asia is main players to organize this program, but APAC from Japan, my project, AP Foundation, and AP NIC Academy, those are closely related, closely supporting our program, and 4 advisory members and 9 curriculum committee members are coming from those organizations. As I said, SOE includes many universities in Asia. So the previous presenter, Hans and Bunny, are part of this community. Strong leaders. And this APAN objectives is not only skills, but also philosophy of the internet. While internet is a very important concept and simple design principles, these things are going to be a very important part of our educational program. And secondly, we focus on community building and human network in the Asia Pacific for the future. As all of you know, in this APAN55 participants, the community and human network is very important to make the network healthy and running. And so that's why we focus on not only skill sharing, but also human network building. The third, certainly, industry, connecting to the industry, and also universities or rents, whatever the young people can dream about as their own career. So those 3 are the objectives of this course. This is kind of unique, differentiated from other courses outside of community course at APAN. APAN consists of APAN Online, self-paced for online courses, 2 courses, and students will take online courses, and at the same time, we have a meetup on Zoom. It is about 90 minutes bi-weekly. So we don't let them just go. We let them take online courses, but still we are supporting every other weeks to encourage them to continue and get some questions and answer session lively. Of course, online courses are interactive, but still the Zoom meetups are very helpful. And the participants who completed online courses can come to the APAN camp, which is 5 days, 7 hours, more than 7 hours a day, 5 days hands-on class. After all they complete everything, they can get the ticket to come to the internet in the internship. This is the design of our program. And apply online. Just this program just run pilot program 2022 and 2023, and let me explain a little bit about what we are doing. The APAN Online understanding the internet about 3 hours a week and using 4 weeks, they will know what is the internet, how it is operated, and application is how is it working on the internet, and also internet governance and society. So the first online course is pretty much storytelling and conversation based. The second one, operating the internet, is more like a project-based online course. Starting from plan your campus network, and they how to range IP address, how to range the network topology and layer 3, layer 2. And week 2, we're going to focus on the routing and routers technology operation. And switches and physical connectivity in week 3. And week 4, DNS and so technology name and addresses are going to be discussed. And lastly, we discuss the IPv6 fundamentals. So this is not covering any technology, but this is just a beginning of a newbie of the network design. And this is project-based, and it linking with many virtual labs outside of this online courses. APAN55 virtual labs are integrated in this class, and also ITAC, the virtual environment is also integrated this. So storytelling, conversation, and project-based are the online courses. And after this online courses, we offer 5 days hands-on hands-on. We just finished in February, early February in Tokyo, Keio University hosted. We are very happy to ask the colleagues, 12 participants from Indonesia, but not only participants from Indonesia, we are happy to see 7 lecturers, not only Japan, but Indonesia, Australia, and Malaysia, and 7 facilitators from Japan, Indonesia, and India as well. And the staff members are supporting all 5 days. Thank you very much for all this. And we touch upon network deployment, including Starlink exercises, virtualization, utilizing the servers, and the project-based online courses are now actually practiced in this environment. And the NS part and IBNIC Academy lecturers actually came to Japan to teach them, and hands-on workshop was conducted. And also we touched upon cloud computing and AWS practice. And lastly, we had a company visit. So this is a 5 days. We see a lot of improvement. We have a space to improve next time, but we are happy to get pretty good feedback from participants and also lecturers and facilitators. And APAN55 is celebrated in September 17, and then they are the members who came to the camp. And as a result of pilot programs, at the starting point, 37 people started this program, but the completed 16 people the first course. And then the second course was completed by 12 students. These are the students who came to camp, and they got certificate and digital open badge right here. The certificate open badge is also supported by the platform that we developed called Insignia, and the open badge based interoperable badges are going to be issued. I mean, already issued to the students. And that we are very happy to announce today is the public version of the APAN online course number 1 is just released. The public version is in understanding the internet. Storyteller is Professor Jumurai, and also facilitator is Dr. Students called Cory Luke. So kind of father to son or grandfather to son kind of a storytelling, and that he tells all about the internet, including philosophy and technology. So we are very happy to see when the course is released. Let me take a 3 minutes video if I may. Right. So the course is supported. Do you hear this voice? I mean, audio?
The Internet. The Internet has changed our lives dramatically. Today, almost 70% of the world's population is connected through the Internet.
The Internet being a human right, it's a lifeline infrastructure for the human being. So from any point to any point to be connected, and that is a responsibility of the Internet.
But what exactly is the Internet? How was it born and developed? And what does the future hold? In this course, we will learn all about the essential workings of the Internet, its history, and the global Internet community that operates, manages, and governs the Internet. Through this 4-week journey, we'll understand all about the Internet, from technology to society.
The other civilization is a kind of different locations, sometimes conflicting each other, but the Internet civilization is a single civilization. It's a very interesting time that everybody's on the Internet, then everybody and every single society is a totally merging space of a global space and the international space, which is pretty new. And maybe not many people really understand that the two concepts now merging together almost completely.
We are now living in an entirely new cyber civilization, and this civilization has many possibilities and risks. What can we do as citizens of cyber civilization? Let's learn together.
We just released this month, and now until today, more than about 250 learners joined already from 54 countries. You can see the map right side, and already more than 120 comments are the conversation of the course. So we really appreciate if you share this information with your younger colleague or who are not familiar with the internet. I'm sure you know all about the internet, but maybe it's a good idea to recap or ask your younger generation to join our program. So the future plans, last slide, we are going to start batch 2 from May this year, and 3 months for the online course and e-workshop. And after that, we are going to have camps in many places, including Indonesia and Malaysia. And we are discussing with other partners who can accommodate these camp programs. And we are very happy to see if you are interested in hosting this kind of program. And happy news about ITB is now thinking about this whole online course class camp accredited in their university. Hopefully it will come out very well. And we are still discussing how we go to the advanced courses, because as I said at the beginning, this is basically focusing on very beginners. But still, after that, after the students completed this program, they asked us what is going to be the next one. So we are looking for other materials that we can curate and introduce them to the other students, as well as maybe we could support some of the small courses in as an advanced. And also we would like to send our completed students to work with event community field and internship programs to be developed. Thank you very much for listening, and I really hope to see some of our activities in somewhere in Asia. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
Hello, hello, Frédéric Louis from France. Renata. I'm really glad to see your initiative. It's really great. I just wanted to raise awareness that we were doing since 2019, not at your professional scale, but we are doing the same thing because we are constructing a router from open source technology from scratch. All of this is open, and we have tackled the problem with RNP in Brazil and researcher in Brazil who are teaching networking using free router, our router. The good news, the idea with that is that the router is really small in terms of resources and can be used by any researchers in any laptop. So they develop a series of courses on top of it. This is teach actually right now in Latin America in Vitoria. If you are interested, just let me know and we can sync each other because our work is really complementary.
Thank you very much. If we get more information about it, please keep in touch. I mean, maybe I would like to get with you by email.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? In fact, I should say, APNIC is also benefited from this because we learned some new ideas from participating in this, and we sent 2 trainers for the APAC camp, and the feedback from them it was very intensive. For 5 days, all labs, and they work from like 9 to 9, and every day is. We never did that before, so maybe we would adjust our own training, to incorporate this kind of like idea. Another thing I want to highlight is this program and APNIC training program. In fact, I think should have more collaboration, integration. We should like complement each other. As you may know, like APAC program is probably more focused on like educating the university students, but like APNIC training is more to train the working engineers who are already in the industry. So the focuses are a little bit different, but I think there are a lot we can share, especially like the training materials, platform, and things like that. So going forward, we'll work even more closely together. Okay, any other questions, comments? If not, thank you, Keiko. Before I close this session, I want to highlight one thing. It's of course an advertisement. APNIC Foundation has a eCIF or iCIF Asia grants, which now open. So if you are interested in applying for grants in the areas of like inclusion, infrastructure, knowledge, like environment, and also IPv6, please go to isif.asia website, and then you can do application from there. I understand that quite a number of grantees are here in this APAN, previous grantees, and if like they are interested to reapply, or there are new ideas from others, yes, please consider it. That's all. If you look at the program, that's in fact another presentation by Yeps, but since we don't have time to cover that, we only will share the slides. And I think this slide deck is also very useful. I encourage you to take a look at that. It actually provides some latest information about submarine cable, etc., which is actually useful to Arena PAC as well. If nothing else, then I would close this session, and the next session of Network Engineering Workshop will be tomorrow, right? So we can take a rest. No, not really. Now it's a lunch break. Thank you.